I built my boring business with $0 from my apartment. My wife even drew the original website on a piece of paper we still have. But today, that boring business has made over $30 million and continues to grow. And there's one principle that helped me do that, and I'll reveal what this is in just a moment. I'm Will Cannon, the founder of Uplead, a B2B prospecting tool that's made over $30 million so far. And there's one principle that helped me do that. In this video, I'm going to share the playbook behind how I make millions a month in my business, why you should avoid exciting businesses, and what to do instead, and the #1 mistake founders make that keeps them stuck. You see, before I built my boring business, I told myself I wanted a business where I wake up at the first of every month knowing my bills had been paid for. I wanted peace of mind for myself and my girlfriend, now wife, so we wouldn't ever need to worry about money again. And this is exactly what my business Uplead has helped me to do. It's a B2B data provider, which means we give high-quality business-to-business data for them to contact each other, so they can see who's in their market and reach out to the right person with the right message at the right time. We compete with ZoomInfo, Apollo, and a bunch of other companies that have raised a lot of money. Now that might sound boring, but this is where things get interesting. I chose this business for a couple of reasons, and it had nothing to do with the amount of money I could make. Don't get me wrong, it's not exactly a bad thing to make $30 million in the B2B market. But there's a deeper reason why I've been as successful as I have beyond money. I chose to build Uplead because I have a skill set in B2B lead generation. I followed a path I was already skilled in. It's one where I knew I could acquire customers profitably. This was after failing in my first business. It was a mortgage company that crashed when the mortgage crisis happened. The mortgage business wasn't residual at all. You close one deal and you still have to close another deal the next month. So I tried again with an agency. The agency business wasn't very residual either. You might have a client come back here and there, but it was just ad hoc as they needed us. It wasn't any kind of subscription. I still woke up needing to get new clients to make money. I had bills to pay and a family to take care of. At the time I was married and my first son was maybe 2 or 3 years old. I was like, look, I want to have a business where I wake up on the first of the month and know my bills are paid for all of us. And when that thought began to take root, I didn't immediately ask myself what business made sense for me to build. I did the exact opposite. I looked for businesses that were already validated that could run without me. These were businesses that had recurring revenue, which meant they created a consistent stream of income every month. I was hooked on the thought, and that's when I discovered SaaS businesses, or software as a service. Their business model is about as boring as it gets. Create a software product, make the offer a subscription, and have people pay that subscription every month for the service. But having a boring SaaS like Uplead changed my life. Now I can wake up on the first of every month and I know the exact numbers we made. It became a business that generates money without me actively building new stuff. The revenue numbers are interesting to look at, but the most important part about all this isn't the money. It's the impact this has had on myself, my family, and my team. We're able to create predictable income every month without being inventive, creating something new, or stepping outside the box. I'm just decent at sales and marketing, and that has been good enough. This, plus the drive to go after what I wanted, it's a boring business, but it works. So what does it take to create a boring business? The answer is probably not what you think. To build a boring business in whatever market you want, you need to understand this principle. It's what sets you apart from the rest. It creates the foundation that decides if you're going to make thousands of dollars per month, or if you make millions of dollars per month with the exact same business. The principle is this: build a product that helps people make money. This means you are directly tied to their business's success. You get access to customers who are willing to pay for your product on a monthly basis. With these types of products, there are different things you can do. For example, you can build something that helps people save time, or you can build a nice-to-have, fun tool. Whatever it is must help them make money and is directly tied to revenue. It's also probably the easiest type of tool to sell. If you're making them money with your tool, it's very hard to cancel. It becomes a part of their daily routine. They can switch, but they can't necessarily cancel completely. They've become so used to how your tool works that the headache is rarely worth the hassle. This is why, if you're just starting out or looking for your boring business idea, a tool that helps a business make money is probably the best type of tool to start with. Because as long as you're helping them make more money, they'll stick with you for a long time. And that's what I built with Uplead. It leads to revenue, but it's not necessarily a direct revenue generator. If they're buying lists of people's emails, reaching out to them, closing deals, and making money, they're probably not going to stop buying lists of emails. But apart from money, what does a boring business actually buy you? It's safe to say my whole life is completely different now because of building a SaaS. People with businesses like mine realize how much time SaaS products reward you with. By building a business that generates revenue without my active involvement, I get to spend more time with my family. I get to venture into other businesses and hobbies. We even call it the SaaS life because once you build a business that solves a problem people are willing to pay money to get access to, it's the easiest money you can ever make. If it wasn't for building a SaaS business, I would be a totally different person right now. When I was running my mortgage business, I remember staying up all night every Sunday to draft 50 to 100 cold emails that were going out on Monday morning. I was in hustle mode every night, every day, including weekends. I did everything manually. So not having to do that and being able to spend more time with my kids and my wife is something I wouldn't trade anything for. This is why having a business that generates recurring revenue always beats having a business that pays you once while you figure out where your next paycheck is coming from. Don't get me wrong, I also work a lot, but it is not as much as when I first started. But I didn't just get here on day one. It took a while to test, fail, and figure out. And one of those early discoveries was being multi-channel. This means building your brand not just on one social media platform like Facebook, but multiple. You have to be everywhere. You have to be on LinkedIn, you have to be on Facebook, you have to be on Instagram. You need to make sure you are constantly where your potential clients are. By doing this, you diversify your customer acquisition channels while staying top of mind. And your business doesn't collapse because Zuck is having a bad day and decides to shut down your Facebook account. You also become shortlisted in the buyer's mind. So when they're in buying mode, they have your business as an option. Since Uplead is in a competitive market, there are a lot of players in the market and it's pretty saturated. Any potential users that come to us have loads of options, and because they have so many options, this makes it important for us to be everywhere. I do this by creating value in the market. I'm not only selling software, I'm also selling how they can become better at using similar products to us. Yes, that's right, I might be indirectly helping my competitors, but when the time comes to make a buying decision, we automatically become the first choice because I've already proven I can help potential customers. That's why I built all my playbooks like the cold email guides, while also sharing how we do things at Uplead. It's led people to know me, trust me, and like me. But even giving away all this free value, you still need a way to differentiate yourself from other tools out there. It doesn't matter how much they like you if your competitor has a better product. When the user asks the question about what makes you different, the answer needs to be obvious. However, when you're building your boring and better business, your time becomes even more precious. You can't be great at sales, marketing, product development, legal, administration, fulfillment, and customer support. You're probably good at one or two of those things. The rest you need to outsource to focus on your areas of genius. So hire the best people you can find in those areas and don't micromanage them. This is how successful, boring businesses are built. But today, most people have one simple problem that stops them from ever building their business and sticking with it. It's the same problem that could have stopped me from ever building Uplead. The number one thing that prevents boring businesses from being built starts in your mind. It's shiny object syndrome. It's chasing the new sexy opportunity that promises to make you a millionaire, when sticking with what's actually proven to work for a long time will get you there 10 times faster. That's why I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would find and start a boring business today, so you don't start chasing shiny objects yourself and stick to what works. First, we want to focus on building a business where there is already a product market fit. This means you already know your market has a desire or problem that your product could solve. A simple way to figure this out is to see if you have any competitors for your boring business idea. Now, once you have your product market fit, you need to figure out how your boring business is going to differentiate itself. Because while most of these markets already being validated is a good thing, it does mean having a unique advantage becomes that much more important. The way I did this with Uplead was to go through all my competitors' reviews, especially the negative ones. Then I took those negative reviews and built Uplead to fix exactly what the other tools were missing. This was how I differentiated myself from the market. Now, this next tip might sound strange, but it works really well. Tell everyone about what you're building. This puts pressure on you to actually follow through and build it. Some people are of the mindset that you shouldn't tell anyone until it's actually making money, but it really doesn't matter. I've told people about things when I just had an idea in my head, and then it never ended up happening. I've also waited until things are making a lot of money before I tell people about them. The end goal will always be actually putting in the work and building the business you want. How you get there is less important than actually making it there. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. Accepting this early is one of the most important things you can do, because every time you fail, you'll still be moving forward with your business, not jumping ship to the next shiny object. You're still in the same vehicle, picking up new skills and lessons. And this is how I built a $30 million business, by being boring. So start by looking at the markets that have already been validated and are making millions of dollars right now. Reverse engineer how you can differentiate yourself from your competition. Figure out a skill or business you're truly great at and work your way up from there. And most importantly, make sure you don't go chasing shiny objects. But taking the first step from zero can feel overwhelming. I know it was for me at the start. That's why I created my Founder's First Million Playbook. It's my free step-by-step guide of what I did to go from $0 to $1 million with Uplead. And the exact same principles I used back then still apply today. Link in the video description.